Jordan Poole, what's up, man? Did you see him sneak into a Giants game last week?
I did.
That was cool. Had his hoodie on. Good to see him get out the house and take in a baseball game. It was a good game, too. Giants and Orioles. The Giants lost that day, 3-2? It was a Logan Webb loss.
Mm-hmm.
But Jordan Poole, hopefully he's having a good offseason, working out, training. You know, despite everything that happened, he did average 20 points per game in a regular season.
Can you name this artist?
Santana.
Featuring?
Don't know who he's featuring. Just know it's Santana.
Okay, do you know who Matchbox 20 is?
I've heard of them. I've heard the name.
That is the biggest lie of all time.
No. I've heard Matchbox 20. I couldn't name a damn song of theirs.
This
but
is
I heard
Rob Thomas
20.
of Matchbox 20. This is one of my dad's favorite songs ever.
Well, I just
he loves this album.
It as Santana. Is it Matchbox 20 album or is
no?
it
It's on Santana. It's the same one with Maria, Maria.
Yeah, Santana. Shout out to Jose Santana, his nephew.
Putting out all kinds of music videos.
Dude, he's ready to go for Niner season.
Oh, come on, of course.
He's ready to roll. He had Chicago lit up. I
love it.
Yeah, I love it too. So we're talking about the 49ers.
You were talking about money.
Well, forget the money part for a second. I want to just start with Brock Purdy starting. So let's just say he does start September 10th. And he comes back and struggles. Because we don't know how he's going to look. I would think for the 49ers, if they truly believe, and you've kind of been on this, if they truly believe Brock Purdy's their guy, and I get you don't want to give up games because you want home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I get it. You don't want to mess with that. But if Trey Lance is decent, and he comes in the first two games and you win the first two games, and Brock's your guy anyway, now it's the best of both worlds. Because say if Trey starts and looks good, and you give the job back to Brock, well, all of a sudden that puts more pressure on Brock to perform, knowing that, hey, Trey Lance just had a great start to the season. He is their number 3 overall draft pick. He's the guy they moved heaven and earth for. I need to play well. Because not only do I need to play well, I got a future contract on the line. And if I take this job and run with it, well, I'm going to get paid, and Trey's going to be out the door. But Trey puts himself in a position to where, hey, the Niners don't pick up my 5th-year option. I'm going to have options because I did put together good tape in the first couple games. To me, that's the way I would play it as the 49ers. Again, you don't want to give up games early on, but I don't think Trey's that bad to where you're going to give up games early on, right? I don't want to rush Brock back. If he's my long-term solution, I want to make sure that he's healthy, that he's good to go, and that he's my guy. So when he does come back in, hey, all of a sudden, Brock, you got to perform now. Trey's already played well. You want your money. Now's your turn to ball out.
Well, independent of Trey Lance, just independent of him, just if you love Brock, and I think everybody loves Brock to a degree, how can you not? The guy was on fire last year, and the team scored a zillion points. Dude, long-term health is everything.
Everything.
I mean, the worst thing you can do, and this is the organization that rushed back Alex Smith. This is the organization that rushed back Colin Kaepernick with a sore shoulder. This is the organization that cleared Javon Kinlaw on how many occasions?
Multiple occasions.
This is the organization that cleared D Ford how many times?
Right.
This is the organization that rolled back Quan Alexander with a torn pectoral, and he did what?
Reuben Foster.
We can go right down the list of guys who returned too quickly. Remember Okella Witherspoon with the bum ankle?
Oh, I do.
Remember when they kept throwing him out there?
Yep, absolutely.
Now, in a lot of those cases, they didn't have a better alternative on the bench, so I get where they're coming from, and those players were so dynamic, they needed those guys to be on the field. But in this one, okay, forget Trey Lance. You got Sam Darnold, too. Everybody's telling me Sam Darnold's good. All right. You can't win a couple games with Sam Darnold?
Wow.
And look, the NFL's hard. So even if Brock is ready to go and you do think that there's a calculated risk or whatever, he could lose a couple games early on in the season, too. Who knows? But for me, the number one thing is about if this is your franchise guy, long-term viability from the jump. And here's the other thing. He misses a couple weeks at the beginning of the year. Well, now he takes less hits throughout the year. Maybe he's a little slightly stronger and more durable come week 15, 16, 17 and rolling into the playoffs. So, I don't see what the big deal is of losing your mind to be ready for week 1. He misses 1 game, 2 games. We did this with George Kittle just last year. George Kittle wasn't ready to go week 1. No one talks about that.
Well, there's a part of me, and look, again, I'm going to say this every day because I know how this works. You pump up one guy, and all of a sudden people say you love one guy and you hate the other. I don't hate 80 of the Niner quarterbacks. I think the Brock Purdy story was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he captured everybody. I mean, I'm telling you, my girl is a casual fan and is a casual football fan. She's trying to learn the game, and she's having fun watching it, and it makes me happy, but she's a casual fan. What Purdy did captured her to the point where she got the jersey. She was chatting Purdy. The first time she saw Purdy, she's like, this is the dude. This is the guy. He reminds me of Tom, like, casual. My mom, casual fan. I'm telling you about the casual fan. I saw a Big Mouth Burger, San Bruno, sipping her lemonade. Yeah, the 49ers, they look good. Sip their lemonade. Yeah, that quarterback's pretty good. And it was Brock Purdy. Like, he captured it. So it's one of the most remarkable stories, and I'm happy for the young man.
It's on par with Kurt Warner. If he ends up being a starter and taking the team to the playoffs every year.
Absolutely. So I don't hate Purdy. I was wrong on him. I'll be wrong again in the future. I've been wrong about a lot of things in life. It is what it is. But Brock Purdy, if he's that guy, then there's a couple things I'm looking at. If he's your guy, then I'm expecting Super Bowl. Right? Is that the fair expectation?
He's a second-year player.
Is that the expectation, though? He went undefeated last year.
No.
He went undefeated last year.
They're the only team in the league that you can even throw the SB word around, Super Bowl around, where you don't even know what to make of their quarterback situation. Right. Like you're hopeful and you love it and you're excited, but like, come on. Like, for example, like I know Eagle fans are gonna say Super Bowl or bust this year. Let's just see Jalen Hurts have another great year.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know like they feel like they're trying to win the Super Bowl, and that's the ultimate goal, no doubt about it. But like if Jalen Hurts puts together another remarkable year, wouldn't you say, oh, they got a quarterback for 10 years, dude. They're going to be in the mix every year.
Absolutely.
So that's the same way that I'm viewing the 49ers situation. If Brock Purdy is what we all hope and believe him to be, they'll be in the mix for 10 years.
You know what it is?
Regardless of roster.
Yeah, so you know what else? Well, we hope they'll be in the mix because Seattle's coming. And there's people who think Seattle has a better roster than the 49ers. And I think Seattle, those last two games were closer to what the scores indicated. That wild card game was closer to the score indicated. The second game up there on the Thursday Night Football was closer to what the score indicated. I was there. But here's the other thing. If Brock Purdy does play well, it will signal a change in the 49ers. It will signal a change for Kyle Shanahan. What quarterback has gotten better under Kyle Shanahan?
Well, that's a fair question.
What quarterback has gotten better under Kyle Shanahan?
Certainly not RG3.
Right? And don't give me this Kirk Cousins thing.
He only played like 4 games.
He played 4 games under Kyle Shanahan.
Nick Mullins had more starts.
Under Kyle Shanahan than Kirk Cousins. Yeah. This whole Kirk Cousins played well under Shanahan. He played 4 games.
Can we go back to the Super Bowl thing just for 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, because I'm wrapping my head around it. In my view, and I want to hear your view, heading into this NFL season, there's one team that's Super Bowl or bust, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs.
You don't think the Buffalo Bills are Super Bowl or bust?
No, because I just they get to a Super Bowl. If they get to a Super Bowl, they'll be so happy just getting to a Super Bowl. No.
They went to 4 straight and lost all of them.
Do you think they're Super Bowl or bust?
I think they're Super Bowl or bust.
I disagree.
With Stephon Diggs and that core and that defense, Von Miller coming back. They just re-signed Ed Oliver to a fat extension. Yeah. They're Super Bowl or bust. Cincinnati, Super Bowl or bust.
Do you think they are?
They just lost the Super Bowl. They lost the AFC Championship game on a questionable call.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll listen to Cincinnati. I think Buffalo's a tick down. They haven't even been in an AFC Championship game yet.
No, yes, they have. They lost the AFC Championship game to the Kansas City Chiefs, so Kansas City advanced to play Tampa Bay.
Oh, I guess they did that year. Yeah, I guess you're right.
They did. And then
Cincinnati played them multiple times in a row. For some reason, I thought it was 3 in a row.
Buffalo
but I still see. I don't view Buffalo that way.
Yeah, well, I think
they have too many playoff losses for me to view them that way.
But they've been so close, and they've been there, and they have a top 3 quarterback, and they have a top 3 wide receiver.
Okay, but we're talking about a handful of teams.
Exactly.
Is there any team in the NFC you view that way?
Philadelphia.
Okay, so you put Philly in there.
Philadelphia's in that conversation.
Do you put the Niners in there? Because they've been knocking on the door?
Absolutely. With their
roster.
So
we've got
everybody
5
keeps
teams
telling me,
in the league.
So no, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Kansas City. You better believe, you don't think people in Baltimore said, we need to make a run this year?
They just want to win a couple playoff games.
Nah, I think they need to go. Okay. They have big time
expectations. So I think we're loosely defining the Super Bowl or bust. I think every year Mahomes doesn't win a Super Bowl right now, it's like, because these are legacy years for him.
I would even throw the Dallas Cowboys in there with Jerry Jones, because Jerry Jones is talking that talk about being Super Bowl. So let's hypothetically say 6 teams.
Okay.
6 teams in the league.
I would taper it like 1 or 2, but that's fine. I want to hear yours.
Buffalo,
I think we just disagree on this.
Yeah, I think we disagree wholeheartedly because Kansas City's right there. They want to go back to back. They have Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Buffalo's been knocking on the door. They had a home playoff game last year in the snow and got throttled by Cincinnati.
Burrows feels, and to me, like where Giannis was a couple years ago.
Well, they had that window, but you got to start paying guys. T. Higgins.
Yeah. Well,
Jamar Chase.
Him and T. Higgins got to get paid the same year.
How many years does Joe Mixon have left?
That's
a great opportunity.
Great question.
That division's getting better now.
Yeah.
You know, Pittsburgh's not going to be down forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not going to be.
They'll be in the hunt.
They're competitive.
They're
competitive.
I'm with you. I just don't like Kenny Pickett.
I don't either, but we'll see about him.
So even at most, we're looking at like 6 teams.
The Niners are one of those teams.
Okay.
Are they not?
All those other spots have clearly defined, established multiple year of excellence quarterbacks. And even Jalen Hurts, it's like a year. It's like a year of excellence.
The Niners
I love Jalen Hurts. He's proven me wrong.
The Niners have told us basically we can win without an elite quarterback because our system is in play. One of the best running backs.
Yes.
You got Deebo Samuel.
Yes.
One of the best tight ends, George Kittle. You have Brendan Ayuk, who's ascending, and by the way, he's going to want to get paid at some point. You have Nick Bosa, who, look, he's going to want to do contracting. I don't think he's worth $33 million a year. I think Nick Bosa's really great, but $33 million a year for Nick Bosa?
Well, I didn't think, and this is just my opinion, and people can disagree, and I'm the biggest Bosa fan. Wouldn't you agree, B?
Yeah.
There might not be a bigger Bosa fan than me. I don't think any defensive player who doesn't touch the ball is worth $33 million. Even if you sack the quarterback 20 times, I don't think anyone, Aaron Donald included, is worth $33 million a year. That's just me.
And so Nick Bosa, as Howard Eskin said last Friday, got his ass kicked by Lane Johnson.
He did.
He was
wore
MIA.
down in the playoffs.
He was MIA in the NFC Championship game. He was MIA in the divisional round game against the Dallas Cowboys. Now he wants to get paid. But this roster, everybody tells us it's stacked, which is why you need to go with Purdy. This is a huge year for the 49ers. There's no guarantee Trent Williams is coming back. Yeah. There's no reason. So, yes, it is Super Bowl or bust with the 49ers. But the problem is, we can move on in a second.
It feels so unfair to say that, but you're probably right.
And you know what?
But I just think it's so difficult to win a Super Bowl.
It's very difficult. But don't you want your team to be in that conversation? Like 888-957-9570 as you are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and AC1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. Last segment was sponsored by Golden State Lumber, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit GoldenStateLumber.com. For me as a fan, like the Warriors now, being in that conversation to be a championship or bust, we hang banners. I like my teams in that conversation. We're just talking about the Giants where we're in this phase where, you know what, we want to see the development, and that's all fun. That's all fine and dandy watching the young kids, but when are we going to win? Because that's what it's about. We don't play to lose. You talk about playing Monopoly at your family's house. Do you want to lose? You want to win.
No, of course you want to win.
Like Joe Spinotti, you're a Raider fan. How cool would it be just to be in a conversation of being one of the teams where you get labeled, hey, it's a Super Bowl or bust type?
It's been like twice in my life. So
let me ask you about last year, right? Last year, was it and I hate going back to this, but was it a failure that they didn't win the Super Bowl? Because I feel like they maxed out last year. Even though I thought that, man, if some things break our way, they could have easily been in the Super Bowl. I don't think they win it. But was it a failure? No, I thought it was a great year.
It was a great year, but it left an empty taste in our mouth.
Okay.
It left something.
It was
like a little hole because the quarterbacks get hurt. You get blown out in the NFC Championship game for the second. You lose the NFC Championship game.
So were you able to swallow the 2021 one better than the 2022? Because 2021, I came away thinking we're just not good enough at the quarterback position to beat them. Stafford marched them down multiple times in the fourth quarter. Our guy couldn't. And it felt like we went mano-a-mano and we came up short. 2022, it feels like a cop-out to say we didn't go mano-a-mano. I still feel like probably the Eagles were going to beat us. But at the same time, man, didn't they overachieve to some degree?
No, they had a generational defense.
Yeah.
We compared this defense to the greatest defenses of all time every single week. Every single week, we said this defense is one of the best defenses in the 49ers history. You can't waste this defense.
Yeah.
That was the dialogue
I know,
last year.
You got Warner in his prime. You got Bosa in his prime.
I may have been more disappointed last season Just a tick, because I was depressed after the Rams lost. That was depressing because the quarterback basically crapped on himself, and Jaquaski Tartt dropped the pick. I don't care what anybody says. Jimmy Garoppolo did not lead them to the NFC Championship game. Watch the game. Jimmy Garoppolo got carried by Deebo Samuel. So let's stop with that rhetoric. We just talked about it. Last 6 weeks, Garoppolo was awful. Week 17, Rams game, okay, he played well in the second half. But for the most part, he was awful down the stretch. Let's just keep it real. It's okay to say that. Nobody's going to get hurt. It's okay.
In my mind, whenever someone brings up Jimmy Garoppolo, I think of Danny Manning, Michelle's uncle, throwing the hat at the television in disgust when he throws that lob pass into no man's land against the Cowboys.
Oh, my gosh.
We should have won that game by 25 going away.
I was there talking so much mess. I thought we were winning 31-14.
It's etched in my brain. Like when you say Felix Rodriguez, etched in my brain is the Scott Spiezio home run.
Oh, my gosh.
When you say Jimmy G, there's two throws. There's the Kittle miss in the NFC Championship game, and then there's the interception he threw in the Dallas game. They're like etched in my head.
Rocco and I, he got him. He got it. He was running to us, Jasky. He broke wide open, and it was like one of those college bowl games where the crowd is like,
yeah, I know.
And he drops back,
the
and you're
noise.
like, oh, he got him. And everybody in the stadium sees it like, oh, my God, George Kittle's wide open. They're about to go up 7-0, and he airmailed him. And Rocco and I immediately say, well, it's going to be one of those games. We got bad Jimmy today.